is the way that we play our zone.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's happening, friends? How's it going? Am I centre here? Am I centre? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan, here in the sunny kingdom where I'm sweating my ruddy so-and-sos off. I hope you're doing well. Really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea news, of course, of which there'll be lots coming straight at ya, because Chelsea are making many moves. We still have lots of players to get out the door. Many twists and turns can happen. Radically changing narrative could and maybe even should be expected with Chelsea Football Club. A few things I want to pick up on today, plus Miguel Delaney's article on Ben Chilwell to Manchester United. That could be interesting. About Chalobah, a bit more, of course, on Sancho, and on Osimhen. Well, Osimhen's just a continuation. Talks are happening right now. Oh, choking there. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you as always for supporting me. Road to 200,000 subscribers. If you are yet to subscribe, I recommend, suggest, and invite you to do so. Should you decide to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. Alright, by the way, just quickly off the top of my head, I was just listening to the Football Ramble podcast. Great, funny podcast, speaking about Noni Madueke. We've got an international break coming up with a New England manager who's recently coached the under-21s, who, of course, included Noni Madueke, who has, of course, just scored a hat-trick away at Molineux. I wonder if there's a chance Noni Madueke gets a call-up for England. I know we're, quite weighted on the right-hand side. Bukayo Saka will, of course, be probably first choice. I don't know what's going to happen with Jared Bowen. Cole Palmer does play out there sometimes, but I just wonder if Noni Madueke is going to get the nod. Something for as and when, though, yeah? Jadon Sancho would be open to joining Chelsea, confirms Fabrizio Romano on court offside. Now, this does not surprise me at all. His time at Manchester United has not been fun, really, has it? Even if he's made up with Ten Hag, you can tell it's not a match made in heaven. He's not been utilised in the first two matchday squads for Manchester United in the Premier League, just like how Raheem Sterling hasn't been utilised in the first two matchday squads for Chelsea Football Club. Now, I think Sancho's training with the United squad, but it does not surprise me at all to learn that he would be open to joining Chelsea. He's, of course, from London. He has confirmed on multiple occasions that he is a Chelsea fan, that growing up he's a Chelsea fan. He idolises Frank Lampard and Didier Drogba. That classic line that we hear so many times. What does it mean? Not much in modern football. I have to be real, but it doesn't surprise me at all that he'd be interested in joining Chelsea. As much as Chelsea are a target figure of fun at the moment because we're doing a lot of transfer business and many people from TalkSport and The Sun and the Daily Star don't understand the idea. I'm not necessarily saying it's a foolproof plan, whatever our plan is and how we're trying to execute it. But one thing is for sure, young players are excited about joining Chelsea. Whether it's like your Noni Madueke's or Cole Palmer's or whatever, your Malo Gusto's, or even your Kendry Pye's and your Esteval Williams. Esteval having an amazing time doing all kinds of celebrations. I think, he's been doing the Cole Palmer celebration. I think he did Noni Madueke's celebration the other day. He's clearly watching Chelsea. He's excited to join. And everyone mentions, all the young players, sort of 25 and under, are saying this is a great time to join Chelsea. It's really exciting. You're not just being thrown in with a team and having to fit in. You're going to have time to develop and be nurtured with a young squad. And it's SW6, mate. Prime real estate, best place in England to go live. Do you know what I mean? So it wouldn't surprise me at all that Jadon Sancho is interested in joining. Of course, we have other priorities first, and that is exits, and indeed probably Victor Osimhen as well, which looks like it's gaining more and more traction purely through reiteration of negotiations. We'll speak about that briefly in just a moment, but I wanted to reference Romano speaking about Sancho. It's a real thing. It's not just a nothing story that came up. Many people will have their own opinions. Most people will have their opinions on Jadon Sancho to Chelsea. I guess I'd ask those people to reserve judgment and think okay, Sterling's going. Would you be happy with Sancho replacing Sterling? That's the question. I think that's the question that needs to be put to you. He's got to be, what, 4 or 5 years younger than Sterling. And he's a different profile of player. Very, very different. And actually, they're both similar in the sense they both prefer to play on the left, but they both have been deployed on the right quite a lot. So a few years younger, he'd have to be getting paid less wages. So we'll see what happens with that. He'll have to fit into the structure and buy into the vision. But Romano says he's come to Chelsea. And for me, that means he's willing to make sacrifices. One person that we all want to come to Chelsea, I think it's Victor Osimhen, provided it's on appropriate terms. Ben Jacobs tweets this on or posts this on X. Chelsea are in talks today, Wednesday the 28th of August, with Victor Osimhen over terms which must fit into their wage structure for them to proceed. Napoli are anticipating a bid. I think Chelsea's sort of said to them, brace yourselves for a bid. Now we know that it's going to be a feasibility, the transfer fee, which it wasn't for like months and months prior. Chelsea, of course, want the buy-in from Osimhen first. They want Osimhen to accept the structure, the plan, the long-term vision, and the wage structure. Chelsea have other options, says Ben Jacobs, including Ivan Toney, in case Osimhen doesn't accept, which is, of course, what I said in this morning's video. We're closing in. We're trying to close Osimhen, but Toney is a backup, probably the main backup option behind him. Yeah, okay. I mean, look, if you look all around social media with Chelsea fans, they are all Osimhen crazy. Yeah, it's hella exciting. It is exciting because if he turns up, you know, wearing a Chelsea shirt and taking Lukaku's number 9, Osimhen 9, you know, wearing the mask. I don't know if he'd wear the mask. Is he still going to wear the mask? He might do. Bowls up at Chelsea, scores a goal. This iconic African striker. Chelsea fans having all the warm fuzzies with that. It will just feel good, bro. Like, you know, everyone's happy with Jackson. No one wants Jackson, or very few people would want Jackson to leave Chelsea. He's been a really sort of shrewd acquisition that's trending in the right direction and is positionally versatile, and has got a good, like, sort of, you know, he's got a die-hard sort of like attitude, which I do like about him, but also I've said in this morning's video, I think it might serve him to have a bit more of a senior player above him for a multitude of reasons. Victor Osimhen can be that guy. Terribly exciting. We'll look at his X value again if this, you know, transfer is coming to pass, so we can get all a bit excited and think about how he fits in. So keep it locked for that. Alrighty then. Rahman Osman, of course, a reporter, football writer for London World, attends press conferences and stuff. It says Trevoh Chalobah has impressed many within Chelsea Football Club with how he's handled everything that has been thrown at him, and a lot's been thrown at him, you know. He's been having a really rough ride, Trevoh. He's just basically, he keeps coming back, he keeps impressing managers, he keeps training. And now the recurring theme is, for a couple of journalists and a couple of publications, a recurring theme is Chelsea could listen to offers for Axel Dessi instead of Trevoh Chalobah, which would make quite a few people pleased. Look, a lot of people like Dessi and, you know, understand that. I referenced again this morning that he was a figure that brokered peace between Enzo Fernandez and Wesley Fofana with Reece James. So he's clearly a good communicator. He's one of the boys. He's a bit of a warrior as well. I like that. He's clearly got the capacity to be a good player. Again, positionally versatile, centre back, right back. So I like Dessi, but I like Chalobah as well, Trevoh Chalobah. If Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea manager, looks at Chalobah, I do genuinely think he looks at Sterling and he prefers what Noni does as a winger. So when he says Noni's the kind of winger I want, Sterling isn't, I kind of believe him, even though the narrative does feel like they're trying to alleviate themselves of Sterling's wages. But I don't think he'd look at Trevoh and necessarily think, well, he definitely can't do what I want. But if Chelsea as a club, as a footballing infrastructure at the moment, are thinking, you know what, we got the Gallagher deal done. You know what, it looks like he's going to go to Newcastle and we're going to get that massive pure profit sell-on clause, which is really big. Suddenly we're not like, what else? They've sold loads of youngsters now. Maybe they get Brewer over the line to Ipswich. and they think, you know what, we've had so much pure profit, this £25 million pure profit for Trevoh Chalobah, we might not need to get it cash in on it. Certainly we might not need to do it immediately. There's also an instance where they say to him, look, man, we can't promise you your whole career here, but stay, play some, and maybe you get your value higher again, and you don't have to go to a Nottingham Forest or a Crystal Palace. Maybe you do get that move to Bayern again, and we get more money, and you play a little bit, and it's pure profit. And instead of 25 million pure profit, it's 50 million pure profit. Again, that's distasteful. It's business, and many of you don't want to hear that. But they do have this idea, Chelsea, that they invest, they keep, they persevere with who they think is going to be the truly elite core. And at the moment, that's Levi Colwill and Wesley Fofana. So even if Chalobah is good, as a rotational option, they'd much rather have a Malo Gusto for like very little, like £22 million amortized over 7 years or whatever they did for him at the time, rather than a pure profit asset sitting at the club. That's their perspective. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's wrong. Don't shoot the messenger. But where are they going to sell Dessi? And are they even going to make their money back? What's he, a €40 million player from Monaco? I don't think he's done anything wrong at Chelsea massively, Dessi. But at the same time, he's not would have increased value, and I think maybe we paid slightly too much for him. So that'll be very interesting to see what happens there. Anyway, that's enough about those guys. Let's speak about Ben Chilwell. Miguel Delaney writes on The Independent, Manchester United and Chelsea have stepped up talks over a potential Ben Chilwell move to Old Trafford, which is separate to negotiations over Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling. The two clubs have been in constant negotiation after the last 2 days, as both attempt to resolve numerous remaining squad issues in the last 72 hours of the transfer market. If they're locked in negotiations, you feel like out of all these multiple players, something's got to give somewhere. Chelsea's main aim has to be the resolve of the future of Sterling, who's of course on massive wages. Crystal Palace are understood to have turned down a chance to go for the 29-year-old, but such talks saw the idea of Chilwell joining United broached. United do need another left-back given Luke Shaw's persistent injury problems, which have seen Erik ten Hag forced to repeatedly experiment or compromise on the position. This has seen the Old Trafford hierarchy at least explore the option of whether a deal can be done for Chilwell. Can I just say before we read on, I think Chilwell will be excellent for Man United. I think the way Ten Hag wants to play, the transitional high-octane turnovers, Chilwell's great. And he can get in the box and score and help overloads, and to the point where it'll be frustrating that he makes Manchester United significantly better, but at the same time, if he's a problem, I completely understand how he doesn't suit the new philosophy, tactics, model at Chelsea. I get it. So if it's the only solution, if it's the only landing spot to offer the solution, I'll go for it. I'm a Chilwell fan. I was really, really pleased when we signed him, to the point that I'd be frustrated that Man United are getting a really good left back from us. The numbers are still some way off due to the 27-year-old's high wage demands. I don't think high wages at Chelsea. I don't think his wages are insane at Chelsea. I think they might be 190k a week, which obviously is way more than we'd give a fullback now. But it's Man United. Man United give massive wages, even under Ineos, who are being a little bit more Chelsea-esque in their new model building. But still, they make so much money, naturally, United, that they can give bigger wages. Chelsea, however, and any progress may still be linked to the Sancho situation. There's a possibility that each club takes the other player on loan this season. Chilwell going to United, Sancho going to Stamford Bridge, with a deal struck on wages. But where does that leave Raheem Sterling? Part of the issue is not just financial, naturally, but how Chilwell is expected to be completely sidelined at Chelsea, while Ten Hag has long wanted to move Sancho on. PSG have been unwilling to move for the winger, while Juventus retain an interest but would require a considerable compromise on the numbers. So United have not yet rejected Sterling out of hand, but those talks have not taken the next step in the manner that talks around Chilwell have. That is interesting. So Chilwell, the talks are advancing with Manchester United. Yeah, man, I see it, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure I see both of them going, but, Chelsea sell players to Man United. We just sold Mason Mount for 55 to 60 million quid. There's dialogue there, there's recognition of the quality of players. These are, apart from Sterling, Chilwell and Mason Mount are Champions League winners, and also Chilwell and Mason Mount are really good mates as well. So it makes you feel like he'd be happy to go there and see his little mate. Look, Shaw injured, Chilwell a couple years younger than Shaw, I think he is. It's all similar age. I think Chilwell would be great for them. He's fit at the moment, provided they keep him injury free. I think it'd be an excellent signing for them if they get him for the right numbers. I feel like that's a deal that kind of needs to happen. I think Chilwell would agree in going. It's Europa League football over Chelsea's current Conference League football. Chilwell's slightly older than most of the Chelsea players, so most of the Chelsea players are sort of patiently waiting for them all to graduate into Champions League football together, where Chilwell's got less time. So at least in Europa League, you're in a higher competition immediately. And I think he suits this. Well, obviously he suits the style better because he doesn't suit Chelsea at all. It would be nice. It would be nice if we could get both Sterling and Chilwell to United somehow, and then we obviously take Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho drops his wages massively to fit in to Chelsea. That would be like the ideal situation. But it's pretty wild, man. It's pretty wild. So many deals are yet to happen, guys. In the next 72 hours, so much stuff is going to happen regarding Chelsea, like maybe record amount of stuff. So do keep it locked to the channel, and I'll try and bring it all to you as quickly as possible here on Football Therapy. So if you choose to subscribe, hit the bell notifications icon so you get notified and you're the first to know what's happening with Chelsea. See you back here very soon. Peace.